Peace, y'all. So today I just wanted to kind of share, because we are still in the beginning of Black August, and we are currently raising funds to support a political prisoner. So I wanted to share a couple of things from Reverend Joy Powell. She's a political prisoner that is located at the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility in New York. She has worked as an activist in her community as a non-violent advocate. She has stood in solidarity with the people in her community and strongly advocated with them against police brutality, police violence, that she herself has experienced, as well as a lot of members in her community. So I have like a lot of articles that she sent me a few years back. I'm not going to go over all of them, but they're just basically different articles about how she has stood in solidarity with people. She's been a strong advocate, and she's did a lot of work in her community in New York. A very powerful sister. So I should have got the year on this, because I don't think I have it. I'm pretty sure it's in one of these articles, but it's so much on here. I don't want to say the wrong year. But she was basically framed by the Rochester, am I saying that correctly? The Rochester Police Department, during her time of activism. And they basically threatened her. They let her know that if she continued to do work in the community and advocate against the police department, that basically she better watch her back. 1 year, and I thought I had these in order. Justice, can you take that in there, please, and watch it? Hold on, y'all. I'm so sorry. Listen. Here, come on. This is loud. It's in here. Come on.
Oh, take this out.
Okay. I'll be in here in a minute, okay? Sorry, y'all. It's hard to focus with cartoons in the background. Okay. So I'm going to read from one of these articles. It doesn't have like the date or the year on it, but it basically kind of gives some details. So this is an activist claims her arrest was a retaliation, and this is basically an article that was in a newsletter in New York. But it says community activist Joy Powell on Monday maintained that recent assault and burglary charges against her were fabricated because she threatened to take concerns about Rochester police to the department's internal affairs unit. She vows to follow through with her complaint and contact federal officials after she said Rochester police terrorized her while she was being treated at Rochester General Hospital. She said she was being treated for injuries she said occurred during an assault days before she was arrested and accused of assaulting another woman. I am a victim they turned into a suspect, Powell said outside the Hall of Justice Monday afternoon, accompanied by several supporters. If we don't stand for something, we go for anything. Court documents with statements from Rochester police charge Powell and a group of people with forcing their way into a house on Copeland Street last month, using a bat to assault a woman described as Powell's cousin. Powell insists she is not a blood relative of the woman, but said she has known the woman for years and financially supported the woman's children. Powell said she turned herself into the police at their request, but not because she was guilty. Powell said she was the one who was assaulted and robbed by a group of people at the Copeland Street home days before the other attack. She said she went there to see a young girl she believes could be the child of her deceased son. She said she filed a complaint with police after she was attacked, but several of her allegations were not included in the police report. After she learned no one would be arrested, Powell said she told the investigating officers she intended to file an internal complaint with the department. In a written statement, Powell contends that community organizations or activists who go to the center of the real underlying issues automatically become a threat. I have confronted abuses of power of people in high places. Powell, who served almost 3 years in state prison on a 1992 drug charge, is known for using a bullhorn to lead impromptu, did I say that correctly? Impromptu rallies and protests on city streets. Police Department spokeswoman Officer Deidre Tacone said Powell's reputation played no role in her arrest. She said the case was investigated the same way any other investigation would have been handled. She is always entitled to go to internal affairs if she has a complaint she wants to file, Tacone said. Meanwhile, Powell's case is expected to be presented to a grand jury. Sorry, y'all, I don't have my glasses on, and they're kind of aggravating me today. So basically how this started was her having issues. Of course, she was already an activist in the community, and she ran across an issue where the police had already been threatening her. She had an incident in her community where she was charged with assaulting a woman, which was not true. And she states that she actually was the person who got assaulted. She got jumped and robbed, and she filed a complaint with the police, and they did not take the complaint seriously, as well as some of her statements were not included in the police statement. So they basically neglected her concerns in her report. Of course, after she got charged with this, she went before a judge and they raised her bail. So after the judge heard the case between her and the so-called victim, they said that they didn't feel like the bail for her was high enough, so they actually ended up raising her bail. 4 years later, they came back and charged her with a murder, a cold case murder. So she not only has the assault charge that is on her, which is considered a assault and a burglary, but she also has a second-degree murder charge, and neither of these crimes are crimes that she committed, but these are things that they have added on her to purposely work to silence her, because she has been a strong advocate and organizer in the city, in New York. And they just don't want her active in the community. They don't want her, and that's something that we see a lot of times in the system with whistleblowers or anything where people are working to expose or address issues in the community. A lot of times they become targeted because the powers that be don't want you messing with their money, or they don't want you exposing the dirt that they're actually doing. And so she has been wrongly convicted and incarcerated for several years. I believe since I know the second charge came up in 1996. I want to say the first charge maybe was like in 1991, 1992. It was around that time, because it was 4 years before the murder charge. So around that time, somewhere in there. Sorry, y'all. I don't have the dates correct. I know I should have them, but it's a lot of stuff that I need to kind of read through to get everything correctly and not be all over the place sometimes. Okay, so right now she's still at the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility, and she did recently write me a letter. Let's see if I can pull it up. But we've been having problems with communication, so you can actually write her on Securus if you have the Securus app. You can send her stamps through there, and you can write her through there. I've had some problems with communication lately. I know I wrote her maybe a few months back, and I believe her tablet was broke. She's also been dealing with health issues, like she's currently dealing with diabetes, and so sometimes that has her down, or she's recently, since I've been talking to her, she's been having to go to get health checkups a lot. So she's kind of been not at her best state. I did ask her about like the food options that they have there, and she expressed that they do not have a lot of healthy food options. So that doesn't help with her diabetes, because she eats a lot of things that are processed and has a lot of starch and sugar in it. But she does have vendors where you can order care packages and actually send her food. I have the list of vendors, and I will include it on the link once I finish the live. I'll include like her writing information and the donation information for those who want to donate. Right now she's currently raising funds for a good legal team to have this case opened and prove her innocence and basically clear her name and bring her back home, because she's currently serving a life sentence. So she's serving a life sentence for things that she didn't do. Back to the food. Sorry, y'all, I can be all over the place sometimes. So back to the food and what I was saying about that. You're able to donate. You can actually buy her care packages through the vendors, and they may have some healthier options. But if not, one of the things that I'm currently hoping to get to in the near future is to be able to advocate for them to have healthier options, or a vendor that can provide them with holistic options, so that we can care for her as well as other incarcerated inmates that may deal with health issues that do not have access to food that would actually heal them instead of kill them. So even while she has been in prison dealing with this, she still advocates for other prisoners as well. Okay, so to the letter that she wrote me, like, it kind of got cut off. So she had wrote two parts. The first part she wrote me, and for some reason it didn't go through. Sometimes we are getting like security issues, and this can be something that they're doing, I'm not sure. But I've tried to write her sometimes, and it'll say it's a security issue and it doesn't go through, or she's tried to write me and sometimes she gets the message and we have to try to resend it. But the second part of the letter, and she just wanted to express her gratitude for everyone who is supporting, who's pushing her campaign, even if you're just sharing a flyer that you see us sharing on social media. Even if you just send in $1, it helps. We're currently trying to raise $1,000 to go towards her legal campaign. She's working to raise $20,000 all together, but just with us as a collective here in Dallas that's standing in solidarity with us, we want to be able to contribute $1,000. So between us and our peers, our comrades, those who are listening, if you can support, all it takes is what, $10 from 100 people. That's not a lot. I'm pretty sure I got 100 people who watched this video I get like 100 views here. So if you are tuned in and you can donate $10 to the cause, it would mean a lot to her, and this will go towards her hiring a legal team to be able to prove her innocence and open the case. But in this situation, like I said, half of the letter got cut off, so when I read it, it's going to be just the second part of it. But basically, she was just saying that she's continuing. She's basically saying, nevertheless, I continue representing my peers on this plantation at disciplinary hearings. Have a podcast called "You Can't Make This Ish Up," exposing the BHCF WB women beater team. I not only need monthly food packages and cosmetics for me, but I make my business to help the needy by sharing what I get with at least 7 people a week. This is not my home. I'm just passing through. I helped to get this disciplinary guidelines changed in New York state prisons, and the list goes on. Needing your assistance, sisters and brothers, to end this nightmare. Please support my cause, Revolutionary Love, Reverend Joy. So even though she is behind bars and she is incarcerated, she is still advocating and working against injustices behind bars for other inmates. So she's expressed that she stood in solidarity and advocated for inmates during their disciplinary hearings, and she also gives back to inmates who may be in need in the prison. So she does that 7 times a week. So this is somebody that we not only want to support because she needs our support as far as being a political prisoner, but she still has a very powerful movement and she's still doing her thing, and we want to be able to back her as much as possible. So again, if y'all can donate, please donate to CMB Dallas 2023 through Cash App. It's Saturday. I know y'all good church going folks. Y'all going to church tomorrow, and this is somebody y'all should be supporting. This woman is a reverend. She's a pastor. She is a nonviolent advocate, and she has been a strong advocate for several years. She's been doing this since the 90s. She was doing it in the streets of New York, and now she's doing it still behind bars, and she's letting us know that nothing is going to stop her. Even, with her health conditions, even with what she's currently dealing with her own legal case, she is still not giving up the good fight. And that's what we should all be motivated on and encouraged on, to not give up fighting for the injustices in our community and stand in solidarity with those who are still fighting. And so if you can make a donation, $10, y'all good church people who love your pastors and preachers and stuff, this woman definitely deserves it. She is a mother. She's a grandmother. She has children who are praying for her to come home. She has beautiful grandbabies and family who has not been able to experience her being free. And so we are not only bringing justice to her when we support her, but we are doing it for inmates that she's advocating for. We're doing it for the people in New York that she's advocated for, and we're also doing it for her family. It means a lot to her. She has sent her gratitude several times, and just wanting to let us know that she stands in solidarity with us as well. So if y'all can, please support. $10 ain't gonna hurt y'all. I'm gonna keep saying it. I know y'all just got paid. Like $10 is Saturday. Y'all gonna take that $10, and if it's $10 you're just gonna use for something that is not needed right now. That's the whole point of Black August is discipline, and us working to create this culture of resistance, to where we're resisting the things that we don't need, like we're fasting during this time, making sure, you know, we're not spending with these large corporations that exploit us, that's partnered with these private prisons that are exploiting innocent people like Reverend Joy Powell. Okay, so this is why we're big on pushing resistance. This is why I'm big on pushing resistance and not supporting like huge corporations that's partnered with prisons, because we're not only we're not only supporting them exploiting prisoners, but this is also, when we put our funds into these large corporations that's partnered with them, we're also saying that anything like this, like Joyce Powell, is okay to happen. We're basically saying that it's okay to incarcerate people and convict them wrongly, even if they are pastors, even if they are good people, you know, even if these people haven't done anything wrong. And that's the same thing that's happened, even though he wasn't someone who's an activist in the community. If you remember the story of Khalif Browder, and I believe that incident also happened in New York, but you know, he was given a sentence for a crime that he didn't commit, and then later down the line, because that actually affected his mental health, later down the line he ended up committing suicide. And so we have to be aware of that. The suicide rate is very high in the prisons as well, because there's a lot of people behind bars sometimes who don't hear from their family. They don't get the support needed. Sometimes they may not have family, or they may have been, you know, wrongly convicted, and the system has continued to exploit black people in a way that they're either giving them crimes, you know, giving them sentences for crimes that are petty crimes and giving them long sentences, or they're doing things where people can be completely innocent. And this woman is innocent, and she is behind bars doing a life sentence for something that she didn't do, and she deserves to be heard. She deserves for her story to be spread, and for people to back her and support her. So regardless of what your beliefs are, whether it's political, whether it's religious, I know that there is some common grounds there. You know, I can't meet everybody on the get out with your guns and stuff like that, but even for people who go to church on Sundays, this could very well be your pastor. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, if you're going to support and stand for anything, whether you're standing for the injustices in your community, or whether you want to stand for your religious belief, whatever it is, I think that we can all agree that we should be able to discern or tell right from wrong. And this is a situation that we know someone has been done wrong, and they deserve to have people back them. So again, $10. All it takes is 100 people to get to that $10, and we'll hit our goal. If you can't do $10, $5. If you can't do $5, $1. It's okay if we get $1,000 people to donate $1. Like, but if you can today, please donate something to CMB Dallas 2023, and the donations will go towards her campaign. Okay, so I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll try to share some more of her content, like through social media. I got like a lot of stuff here that I'm trying to figure out how to get all this information out, because it's a lot. But I think I went over the basics and gave most of her information. Again, you can write her through Securus, and I don't know if y'all can see this, but you can actually write her directly through the prison. Can y'all see that information there? I'm trying to hold it up to the camera, but you can write her through the prison as well. If you can see that information, I don't know if you can. I'll include it in the comments. But that's pretty much it. Oh, and tomorrow we're having political education and we'll do it through Zoom, but it will be on live, like it'll stream through Facebook. And one of my comrades from Rome, Georgia, is going to be attending, and we'll be talking about a few things with our programs in the community, as well as doing some political education. All right, so y'all make sure y'all tune in. If y'all are on the east side, then of course it's going to be at 8, and if you're Central Time, it will be at 7 p.m. All right, y'all have a wonderful day. Peace, love, and light.